welcome back to another episode of International Immersion, a podcast where we seek to explore different cultures, people, and sort out the differences, similarities, and so on and so forth between people and places around the world. So today's episode, I just wanted to do a short episode about something that is affecting millions of people around the world right now, and that is, how has the coronavirus outbreak affected people's work habits? And it's a pretty dumb question to say the least, but I would say that it's affected people either from next to nothing or to completely changing their routine, or in the worst case scenario, as we've seen, millions of people losing their jobs. It's quite unfortunate because just in the last several weeks in the United States, millions of people have lost their jobs, albeit temporarily or, in the worst case scenario, indefinitely. And they are now seeking unemployment. And from talking to friends and family, a lot of them can't even access unemployment because the system is too overloaded. And I've heard horror stories of people calling unemployment hundreds of times, or 20, 30, 40, even 100 times in a single day, and never actually reaching an operator or even getting into the system to start their application. So there's definitely a crisis going on with that. And I just hope that the situation can improve, rapidly enough where it can start to cut down on the number of people being affected by unemployment. But moving on, I want to specifically talk about how this has affected my work schedule in the last month, and what's the situation like for workers, primarily in my line of work at a public university, since this has started. So going back in January and February, I traveled abroad to India and Nepal for work. And at that time, the virus was still primarily, based in China. It had not made many, inroads into other countries. At the time, there were some small clusters in several countries, including the U.S., U.K., and others. But I was able to get back to the U.S. before things, quickly declined across the world. And through the rest of February, the school, other businesses, they kept in constant observation of what was going on. But by early March, there were indications that it was growing more and more rapidly in the United States. So we started getting information about potentially working from home part of the time. So the week of the 15th of March, we put this into effect at my university, where in my department specifically, there are 6 of us, and we would do as one person on the recruitment side of the house would work from the office while everyone else worked at home, and then we would rotate in and out of the office once or twice a week. That lasted all of 1 week before the governor of Illinois put a stay-at-home order on March 20th. With that being said, basically that following week, we all started working from home, and only, highly important personnel or very important personnel were allowed to go into the campus and work on site. So since the week of the 20th, I've been working home constantly. I have not been into the office for, it will be a month as of next week. So it's quite a change going from working in an office where you have all the resources and other materials and things you use to do your job, to working at home. It is nice because you get to sleep in a little longer, you get to enjoy the amenities of your house, but missing my 2 screens and other functionalities definitely inhibits my ability to do my job in a more, productive manner. With that being said, you do grow more accustomed to what you need to do to work from home, and you find out new ways to be productive. So in the last month, I've done my job effectively, but it was a transition, and for the time being, I don't mind it, but there are definitely, pros and cons, as with everything. But another thing that's a little interesting to delve into is how that's affected people psychologically. And I can speak for myself in that working from home is nice, it's more comfortable, you're more relaxed, but the lack of human interaction and you don't have the ability to meet with people, talk with people in the same way you would at the office, it is definitely isolating, and you do crave more human attention. At least that's what I feel based on what I'm going through right now. And it's just really a shame in that the only contact you're having with your coworkers or the people is via Zoom or whatever, communication software you're using on your computer or phone, which is, it's better than nothing, but it's still not the same of actually meeting with people face to face, which, as we all know at this time, is a very bad idea and is one reason why this virus is spreading the way it has, along with a host of other reasons that I won't go into on this episode. But at the same time, I think that we have to understand that this could last a while longer, and there's speculation that here in Illinois that they're going to extend the stay-at-home order into May. And while that's not been confirmed yet, there's a lot of talk about it, and it will be announced pretty shortly once we know how long it's going to stay. But personally speaking, I think that we will be working from home at least up until the end of May or even into June. I hope to God it does not last longer than that, but given how rapidly the virus is spreading and how many people are being infected, and we've already had some students on our campus be afflicted by it, which is quite unfortunate and brings this home, and kind of, it's like a lead weight falling, because, you hear about it, but once you know someone or you hear someone that's in your general vicinity that gets it, it definitely is a game changer. But I just can't imagine for a lot of other people who have to still go out and work in this, or who are working at home and they have lost a lot of functionality. That has to be very frustrating, and I really worry about the psychological health for a lot of people around the world right now, because this is something that's unprecedented. We've never gone through something like this since the Spanish flu of 1918 and 1919, and thank God this pandemic is not nearly as deadly as the last ones in terms of mortality. But regardless, I think the biggest impact on people is psychologically, because humans, we are social creatures. We need social interaction to varying extents based on the person. But I think we'll see a lot of changes brought out because of this, and I hope that companies, businesses, governments take note of that, and can also improve the quality of the work environment, but also improve communication and how should I say it, and the necessary steps and fail-safes to keep people safe, but also ensure that the work is being done, but the health and well-being of their employees is maintained. And I must say, where I work, they've been very good at that. We get emails constantly about, if you need to take a day off, that's great, no problem. If you need, if you have kids who have been kicked out of school or who are home all the time, we are offering additional leave and other benefits. So that is one great thing to see from my employer, but I know a lot of others don't go as far as that. And at worst case scenario, I've heard of many employers who have really done next to nothing. And that is just tragic, because I think you're putting the well-being of your employees and your business at risk for, a very stupid reason. The facts are the facts. This virus, while it's not as deadly as something like Ebola or MERS or SARS, which it's still lethal, and a lot of people who get it, they have a high chance of not surviving it, as we've seen based on the effects on different populations, age groups, and people with pre-existing conditions. So with that being said, I will definitely keep track of what is going on in this area in Illinois, or more specifically the St. Louis area, but also around the world. And I would love to hear more information and more thoughts and personal stories about people who are affected by this. And I welcome anyone to post comments on our podcast, and anyone who wants to talk about certain topics or things related to coronavirus, or how their work is being affected, or how anything is being affected. We welcome any of those thoughts and considerations, and we would love to discuss them in further depth. So that's pretty much it for today. I just wanted to do this short episode to express some simple thoughts and opinions about how this is affecting people in a work environment, using myself as a guinea pig, for example. So we hope that you will post comments on our podcast, leave us suggestions, give us a like, and we'll gladly look at anything you post on our site. And until next time, as we always say, goodbye in our own languages, goodbye, or in Chinese, 再见. Please stay safe, everybody. Take care, and we will see you on the next episode.